Hello and welcome to today's episode of the WholeHearted Living podcast with your host Debs Thorpe. And today we are talking about a natural state of expansion and what that really means for us in practice. So let's dive in. So I wanted to do probably quite a short and sweet episode on our natural state of expansion as human beings. And this is almost a follow-on from the episode all about giving yourself permission. Because what can happen is when we feel called to embarking on this wholehearted living journey for ourselves, there can be a lot of judgment around us desiring things and a life that is different to maybe quite a lot of people around us. And so today I just want to reaffirm to you that your natural state as a human being with access to consciousness, that your natural state is expansion. And we see this out in nature. We know that the very fabric of the universe is expanding. We know that nature itself it's always in some state of change. Okay, it's not ever stagnant. It's always moving in some way. And so we can really tap into giving ourselves permission and understanding that it's okay for us on a really deep fundamental level to also desire change and expansion. Now, I just want to kind of caveat this with typically what we have been taught and brought up with, particularly in the West, is this idea that more means more stuff, more money, more possessions, bigger, better. Like that's where our expansion has gone typically. And you can look around at various countries in the world to see this, okay? However, we also know that that's not correlated with people's experience of happiness and satisfaction and fulfillment. You know, if we were to look into the statistics of mental health in countries like the USA and the UK at the moment, it would be pretty shocking considering what we have access to and technically the abundance in our societies, right? So we know that this call for more and this call for expansion is not about more stuff. We can see that quite clearly. So then what is it about? Well, if we are all part of almost like this fabric of life, like how we're all connected, we're all part of like this consciousness. It's this call for expansion is the expansion of that. And so when I've referred to this wholehearted living journey being an inward journey first, this is kind of what we're tapping into, is we need to almost drop beyond the outer layers, beyond the beliefs, the shoulds, what other people have given us over the years. We need to drop down, deep down into almost like this constant flowing stream of consciousness that exists. And that's what we're wanting connection to. That's what our expansion is about. It's about our ability to be able to tap into this flow, if you like, this river, this constant source that's flowing, and to then be able to express that and bring that out into the world through our own uniqueness. And that's going to be different for everybody. So we can see how this happens a lot. And if you read the biographies of famous creators, or you watch films and listen to interviews with people who are very creative, they will talk very often about that inspired idea feeling like it almost just like drops out of nowhere into their brain. And, you know, particularly you'll hear this from musicians where the melody or the lyrics will just seem to kind of appear or flow through them. Okay, so we understand from a creative point of view that there is this, I don't know, consciousness, this source that we can tap into. But we all have that capacity as human beings, and we are all here within our uniqueness, because we will have our own unique interpretation and way that we want to experience that consciousness within our life. And so I just want you to hear that the call for more, for expansion, for something different, for change, for pushing the edge, you'll know it and you'll be able to access it by dropping down into that flow, that of consciousness, however you want to call it, intuition, creativeness. That will be the point that will be your guide, if you like, for what that expansion is going to look like for you. And this is where the giving yourself permission bit comes in. So if you've not listened to that podcast, do go back. I'll leave the link in this one. That you can then give yourself permission for that to be different, because it's going to be unique to you. Okay, it's going to be different to maybe what those around you want, and that's okay, because your deepest fulfillment and purpose and passion and happiness and everything else in life is going to come from your expression of that energy, of that consciousness into the world. Okay, I remember at the beginning of creating and having the idea for Wholehearted Living that I was so frustrated with life. I was so resentful of all of the things that I'd had to do to get to where I was in life. And I could not drop this inner frustration. And it wasn't, and you know, I was struggling to pinpoint it. Okay. There was all of these different external things in life that I could have pointed to, but it wasn't quite it. And it was actually because I needed to do this work, right? I needed to do this inner journey of going into my inner well, that inner river, and being the expression of that. And it's only been through me starting to create content, record this podcast, write lots of articles, share my experience, begin to teach on this, that frustration has gone for me, because I'm in the flow. I'm in that, to use the Japanese principle, right, of ikigai. I am in that sweet spot. And that's what's important in this process. So I want you to just honestly right now, take a nice deep breath, close your eyes for a second if you can, place your hands on your heart and allow yourself to begin to drop down into that deeper place within. I'm going to be recording a guided practice on this very soon. So once I've done that, I will include the link. But to allow yourself to drop into this place, to experience that consciousness that flows through the entire universe, that's connected to everything, and see where that you feel the pull, what that intuitive nudge is, what it is that is going to be your unique expression of that in the world. Because that's the key to fulfillment in life. It's from that process. And we get to do that without judgment. Okay, so give yourself permission to desire more, to want to expand, for you to want this really full, amazing life, and drop down and connect with what is going to be that unique expression for you into the world, and see where that leads. This is a really exciting, amazing journey. It's one that you can do right now, right from where you are. So I'd love to hear from you of how this lands for you, this practice. What, if there is any blocks or resistance that come up for you when you think about accessing this place within, please do share them with me, and I will really take note of those and then produce some more episodes for you to help deal with any of the resistance that comes up. But for now, I wish you a full, wholehearted experience this week, and I very much look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Bye for now.